Okay, let's talk all things binding. So what you're going to need for this part of the quilt making process is you're going to need your cut binding strips. If you need a refresher on how to cut fabric, I'll link to a video for that so that you can go and check that out. But I got my strips. You'll need to refer to the pattern to know how many strips to cut. I've got that all done, and I've got my selvages removed, so we're good to go on that. You're going to need a marking tool. I'm just using a friction pen, again, because these markings are not going to appear anywhere in our quilt, so we're safe to use this. You're going to need a ruler. You're going to need some pins, and you will need a rotary cutter, cutting mat. You will need an iron and an ironing board, as well as your machine and some thread. Okay, let's do this. So, first step is to take a binding strip and lay it out flat on your board. Then you're going to take a second strip and you're going to place them right sides together at a 90-degree angle, like that. Now what I like to do is I tend to take my marking pen and just give myself a little guide here at the bottom to know where this bottom piece lines up with the top piece. You don't have to do this. This is just, I just find it helpful. It gives me a little bit of a visual guide if I can't see the bottom line of fabric through that piece of fabric on top. And then I'm just going to line my ruler on top. And what I want to do is I want to draw a line from corner to corner to give me a guide when we're at the sewing machine. So I just mark my line. I take a pin and I just pin it. There we go. And then I just pin it in place. And then I move on to the next one. Now, this is where it gets tricky. So I want to come back and I want to bring this one that I've just attached to the bottom guy here. So this one is placed at a 90-degree angle. The top one is now right sides together. And I want to flip it up so that this one is facing right sides up, and take another strip and place this one right sides together, again at a 90-degree angle. And then I do my little marking here, just so that I have a gauge. And then I place my ruler, and then I just mark a line. And then I put a pin in it. And then I keep doing that. So again, I bring this one to the front, I flip it up, I take another strip, I lay it on top, right sides together. I mark my little guide here, mark the line. Now you don't have to mark a line if you're comfortable that you'll be able to stitch freehand a straight line. Go for it. You can skip this. I just tend to like to have the guide there. And we just keep on going. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to finish this up and then we'll take it to the sewing machine. Once you have your binding strips all marked up and pinned together, we bring it to the sewing machine. I'm just going to drop my needle again. And what we're looking to do is stitch right on that line. You want to follow it as closely as possible as you can, and this will give you a nice mitered join. Here we go. Just gonna take my pin out. Now, what I like to do is, again, I like to chain piece my binding, so I just keep bringing these joined units where I have the drawn line with my pins, and I keep going. This way it makes very efficient and quick work of the binding process. I just cut my threads. And then what I like to do here is I just cut them apart. So I just snip the joining threads apart. Da, 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 da. And then I'll show you a step before I cut anything else, which is an important step. So once you have your strips sewn together, what you want to do is, what I like to do is actually run my hand along the width of it, along the length of it, so that I can make sure my fabrics are all running the right way and my seams look good. It has happened to me where I've attached the fabric in the wrong direction. So I put it wrong sides together rather than right sides together. So before I trim my dog ears, before I trim any of this, I want to just make sure that my entire binding strip has been attached properly. So I like to just run my hand through the entire thing and make sure that everything is stitched and in the right spot. Once I know that everything is nicely stitched and I've got the right orientation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and just trim off that excess here. So I'm just lining up the 1/4 inch line directly on my stitched line. And then I'm just gonna trim 1/4 inch away, like so. I'm gonna do that to all of them. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna press this seam open. The reason why I press the seams open on my binding is to reduce the amount of bulk. So I'm gonna finish trimming them up and then I will meet you at the iron. So I'm just pressing my binding strips as I go, getting rid of any creases that may have appeared while I was working on it. And I always start by setting my seam, letting my stitches sink into the fabric, and then I like to press them open. This reduces some of the bulk when we're going to come to do the folding. So it's a little bit more finicky. But just take your time with it. I like to finger press it open first and then just place my hot iron on top. And then I keep going. And just press, press, press. Make sure it's all nicely flat. And then what we want to do is come back and fold this guy in half. So all I'm doing is folding them so that their wrong sides are touching. And I'm meeting it up to the other edge, and then I'm just pressing. And I'm going to do that the entire length of the binding strip that we've created. And so I just like to kind of pull it along and keep pressing. And that is all there is to binding. We'll tackle the how to attach it in a separate video. I just wanted to first show you guys how to get it made because I know that sometimes that can be the tricky bit. So I'm going to continue ironing this and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.